our favorite news reporter, and also known throughout the state as Big Daddy, Rick Thompson, is... knocking on the door.
To get in?
Yeah, somebody to get in.
I wonder who that could be. It must be a mystery person. Shiler's taking his gun.
Joey, he doesn't know the...
Oh, this is horrible.
That seems
horrible.
rather...
Horrible.
Back in the day, knock on that window would have sent us over.
Yeah, it would not have ended well. We would have thought it was the
There were
police.
times when a knock on that window was...
I'm going to say that...
Is that an external window? Is that...
Yeah.
No, that's not...
It's
okay.
No, that's not true.
I mean...
No, it goes to the suite next door.
Days of the Rube Goldberg contraption.
Yeah.
So,
Rick
is not here.
No.
And the man who's responsible for everything is not here. Jamie, where are they?
Vanderbilt.
Are they calling in or something?
I don't know. Probably not. I would say not. But Dewey's here.
Hey, I'm not acknowledging
Dewey.
that behavior just there that just occurred is insane. I don't know.
Yeah, Dewey, you were knocking like you were the damn
I'm
police.
calling Pam. This has got to be stopped. This is nothing.
Worried, didn't I?
A little bit.
No, it's just who
bit.
does that? You don't know. There's a thousand ways. It's like security doesn't do that to people. Security is security.
I think he was proving a point.
All right, Joe, you're here. I did a couple of my dear friend, internationally renowned lawyer, guitar extraordinaire, and iguana lover, Jeff Frazier is here. Please welcome Jeff Frazier.
Muy buenas noches a todo el mundo menos uno y que viva Colombia.
And everyone's favorite Federalist is here to show his face here. He hasn't been here in previous weeks, but there's been a movement, PGT, which has formed the Anti-Federalist movement.
I heard him refer to himself as the token Republican.
Whatever.
His words.
I don't even know what that means anymore. Does anybody know what that means? You let him try to define that tonight. But Shiler Engel, the one and only Federalist, is here.
I don't know why I continue showing up for slander.
Nothing with slander. It's all true.
It's self-inflicted punishment.
And of course, we have a special guest here in the studios with us, who is also committed, I understand, to speaking at the Michigan Hemp Industries Conference, which is on, what day was it? The 29th, 30th? 30th of March. A big event, a lot of information taking place there. Joel is going to be speaking. He's going to talk about none of the things he'll be speaking about then, other than the cannabis sativa L plant, hemp with 3% or less of THC as the common theme. But it's not going to be the same material because we've got special stuff at the event that you're going to want to come out and listen to, in addition to the possible panel that we're going to put together that Joel's going to in charge of moderating maybe.
Far out. That's great. Did you say where the conference is?
I'm waiting for you, please.
Oh, okay. Well, to the best of my knowledge, it's on the 30th, a Saturday, from 10 to 2. It's hosted in Ann Arbor at a hotel off Jackson Road, I believe. It's a strange name of a hotel with too many consonants.
Everyone knows where it is. It's
okay.
Is it Clarion? Is that
yeah.
right? It's a Clarion.
Yeah, that's a good hotel.
Which one?
Clarion.
Clarion, I think.
I thought it was the Wayham or Wayham
the Wyndham.
Wyndham. There you go.
Yeah, all those hotels over there are pretty friendly.
They're just all clustered in one area.
Yeah, they're
right.
good.
Wyndham. It's the Wyndham. You're
okay,
right.
very good.
They've never kicked...
There's 70 registered guests already.
Yeah.
And
they've never kicked Shiler out for smoking marijuana, so that's
This is
good.
unbelievable.
What?
Well, is the statement not true?
What?
That they've never kicked you out for smoking marijuana? I think that's a true statement.
I have never been kicked out of anywhere for smoking marijuana.
What did you just look at yourself in? What are you talking about?
He's trying to incriminate me. It's like amusing to him or something.
It's fake news. Fake news.
Can you be incriminated?
You got to speak into the microphone.
That's possible, is it?
Only private and civil conduct is really the interesting points of marijuana law these days.
Oh, okay.
So, just because the industry was used to treating each other in such a way because it was operating in a criminal atmosphere, now that we're a civil and legitimate business, you're going to have to learn to act civilly and comply with all of the laws and regulations. There's a regulation side of this.
Ooh.
So there are
So,
rules.
like, yeah, there are rules now. It's amazing. The freedom part is going away.
Why are you smiling when you say rules? Like you like
Because you
seems
guys
like you
signed
want-
up
you-
for it. I was saying, no, don't
signed-
do this.
Who signed up for what? What are you talking
All
about?
of this.
Well, I was told you could certainly smoke behind your house, but you really couldn't smoke in front of your house.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Can't smoke on the sidewalk.
Sounds like a
You
whole bunch of new
smoking-
rules.
Private.
So the sidewalk is the determinator of no smoking.
All right.
The verge, really, between the sidewalk and the street.
We've won.
Your property, your private property, I would say you'd be entitled to smoke on.
Oh, very good.
'Cause
Michael had encouraged us in a former episode to apply I believe we called it the piss test. Was it the piss test, Michael? If you could piss on it from your property, you were good.
I never said anything.
I think that was.
Never have I ever.
I'm pretty sure
I
that
think
was.
that might be another law violation.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but I'm
Combining
paraphrasing.
a couple of
Cabbage
tests.
Cafe.
Yeah, that's right.
Cabbage
Yeah.
Cafe, you may have heard
Several,
that.
Cabbage Cafe.
I
Yeah.
would say that
I think public urination laws are
Pretty clear, aren't they?
Yeah.
they're
You drink
immoral.
a lot of water.
How does it get you on
Well-
the sex registry? You know?
it
It's
gets you the,
unbelievable.
yeah.
it's
Let's
like-
talk about that for a second. First of all, there's a defense to public urination. First of all,
That you had to pee.
it's got to be in public.
Oh,
So if you're peeing on someone's lawn,
Yeah.
of a house, arguably you're not in the public urination. However, many of the local codes will extend that ordinance and prohibit to those private residences as well. But you have the exception of getting the permission
But what if you're seen by your
of
neighbor?
the homeowner.
Permission to
What if
pee.
you're seen by your neighbor?
Well, that's your neighbor's problem. Maybe they're into it.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
they-
That's true.
I-
They
That could
can
be.
turn away.
Some
I don't
high-ranking
think. I don't
individuals.
think
Well,
some
That's
judges
the.
and police
First
will
of all,
allow
that
if
sounds
your
awfully
neighbor
close
sees
to
you,
the R.
well,
Kelly defense.
first of all,
What if
First
you're-
of all, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick a place to pee outside, pee on your own lawn. Don't go on someone
Yeah.
else's lawn. Okay,
Yeah,
Shelley?
Shiler.
I'm not doing that.
You don't need to lay your
think he
scent
was
down, your
accusing.
Republican scent on everyone else's house. Just leave it alone. This conquering thing and war mentality is just too much. Anyways,
No,
the
no. I'm serious about this, though.
Just-
You've never been to my office. In my office, it is bricked off, so no one can see.
Is that where
the
you
vent.
pee?
I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that you're going to have a level of privacy even with your marijuana use.
Oh.
That's all I'm saying. There was going to be incidents caused just by using marijuana on your own private property.
Right. Most people
Prepare
want to
have
know, can they
interaction
sit
with
on their
yourself.
front porch and smoke a joint?
Yeah.
It's something. Eventually, the ridiculous is going to happen. I've got phone calls this week where just the circumstances are insane because people are petty and
well, this is what it
the
is.
cops have nothing better to do.
What do I think the legal interpretation is? Is an answer that is a answer to what I think is not necessarily legal advice. But do I think that the intention of the law was to allow people to smoke marijuana on their private property, including their porch, on the edge of their property, before the sidewalk,
In their driveway.
in their driveway, areas that they control and others can't come onto, that
On
they
their
can-
roof.
on their roof, but visual to people, unequivocally. The idea that it's going to smell and offend people, too bad. I would say the
Too
intention
bad.
was because the people voted for it, and they didn't say you could only because these things. Now there are city ordinances that exist that could be effectuated, such as nuisances and
Yes.
things like that.
Tell
then
us
you've
about
got this
that. Why doesn't
barrier-
the initiative override those laws, Michael?
Well, I say that it does, because any law that's in conflict with said law, which is a state law, is one that is that the MRMA wins. And the intention of MRMA is to make legal for adults 21 or over the use of marijuana, and the law is intended to be broadly construed. And even though the cities have a right to zone in certain areas, and they have a duty to stop nuisances or things that would be defined as nuisances, so that there's not disruption in the neighborhood, they might say, and that'd be the justification. And if arresting behavior, or, that's is what the conduct is, then that's nuisance, and they could arguably stop it or enjoin it. But this is not behavior that should be put in a category that is per se legal. It is in fact legal and intended to be legal and broadly interpreted, and
Right.
not in the zone of the way we looked at it in the past. The smell of marijuana these days
What-
is not something that should be deemed anything other than like the same as the smell of a cigarette or the smell of alcohol.
What about in site condominium developments?
Well, I mean, it's
That's a good
not like
question. I want to address
In
that.
site condominium develops, there might be a board that makes it a fine to leave out or smell of marijuana.
But you need
Well,
to
they
do
may
it
say that, but
before you know,
Well, it's
can't bind
incorporated
you to later bind you to it.
Yeah, but,
But-
they can just put it in their charter right now.
Amend
and
the
Go
rules.
ahead. I mean, it's
Amend
not
the
like you're
rules.
breastfeeding a baby on your front porch or anything. I mean, this is
No.
that would be
no.
illegal.
Oh, man.
Is that illegal?
it'd be a nuisance, surely. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, we
clearly.
can't have that.
And I want to
Yeah. Yeah.
confess that
all-
my
all
wife
these are
has
later legal issues.
breastfed all three of our children in
Breasttheology?
public
Is that what
often.
Yeah.
One
I've
hand here,
always,
one hand here.
Right.
yep, I've always encouraged it. She used to wear one of those blankets, and I got really upset. Like, what are you doing?
I'm
This
trying to
is
think
so-
where does that offensiveness come from?
It comes from prudes.
Oh, the
Prudes.
self-proclaimed republicanism.
Oh, Chyler, tell
Who
us
are the
more
people
about
that are
that.
offended by breastfeeding? Is it Democrats?
I have no
Shiloh,
idea.
who
what
are
you're
these
talking
Usual
people?
about.
Democrats?
Mike
Is it the
Chupa,
liberals?
for
I think,
one.
Most Republicans are pretty independently minded.
No, I think
They
You
think
think
for
so?
themselves.
repressed
I
Christians,
think that there's
think
the
is
Bible
answer.
says no breastfeeding in public or something like that, right? That's what it is, right?
That's not true.
I have no idea.
You can breastfeed in public. You can. It's protected behavior.
It's like the Noah thing, right? You got to,
I just think there's
don't
there's
show your
property
privates.
rights. There's
Something,
property
right?
rights.
Nakedness. Hey.
And I think, I mean,
Yeah,
with
make
with
colors
marijuana,
so
I
you don't
think
grab
the key here, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, is that not everybody enjoys the smell of marijuana. So, don't be an ass. Respect your neighbors and be kind, and more
No.
often than not, things will end okay.
But that is not really the way it's. I mean, okay, listen.
You don't agree with that
No,
statement?
no, I do. Let's talk about two different things. I'm saying that if the forum here and the statements that are being made are open to what I like and don't like, I'll tell you this:
Yeah.
listening to somebody speak with alcohol on their breath, slurring their words with cigarettes in there as well, is really offensive, and I don't like that.
Right, but
But the-
you would not allow that behavior around your children. And there's other people that
It happens in a restaurant that I go to all the time.
Well, then you should say
What if
something.
the
to them.
I shouldn't go to the restaurant. That really is a
No,
restaurant.
no, I know. You
What
should
if
go to the
they
restaurant.
do
but
exist.
You
They
should.
do exist.
You should start a scene. I think.
No, what I'm saying is this: you're right, Jim Powers.
What
because
restaurant is this?
we are
by the
not
way?
trying to make enemies with neighbors. And let me tell you something.
Right.
If we're talking about the Bible, this is biblical. You fight with
I
your
know.
neighbor, and your neighbor doesn't like you, and they got nothing else to do, they will make your life
they're
miserable,
Yep.
and it's territorial.
Speaks
It's called the
kind.
Hatfields and the McCoys,
Yep.
and
There's no upside.
you know,
Be
the-
kind to your neighbor.
Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner is another good representation in a historical biblical perspective.
I say
I
pee
never thought of that.
outside when you can.
Or
Yeah.
back to that.
I'm
What
with
do you
you.
do right after you pee, man?
I'm
what
with
do you do?
Dewey. I'm with
Shake.
What do you do right after you pee? No,
You shake
what do
it.
You flush the toilet, right?
Right.
I
You
thought
just
we were
wasted
outside.
3 or 5 gallons
See,
of
this-
gasoline
that's-
over one.
Yeah. There you go.
I-
Yeah.
No,
I'm
that was
Dewey.
water. That was water. But most of the plumbers I
Gasoline or
know
water?
do not
Is it
use
gasoline?
their,
You mean
their
water or
bathrooms.
gasoline?
No.
They're totally
I got it, I
upset
got it.
about the waste of potable water. They will just excuse themselves from your house and they'll say, "I'm sorry, I can't use your bathroom. I'm going to go outside."
Who says that?
Piss on the
Well,
tree.
plumbers that I
ones
know. The ones they're totally upset with the waste of potable water and they much prefer to pee outside. It's a plumber's code actually, from what I believe.
I love plumbers.
I like that. It's the greatest pleasure, you know. Oh, I get such grief.
Look at we're all closeted.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Everybody
Well,
likes to pee
outdoor
outside.
beers.
There's always.
You know, that's right.
I'll never confess.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
I do it as much as possible.
Is this?
Are you being pissed off about this?
No,
Yes,
I
he
agree.
is.
I
It always
myself
makes me smile.
am challenged sometimes in the morning leaving my house when I realize I should stop and.
And then
Go.
you just piss on
Yeah,
your
but I know
tire.
if I do, I'll have to do the goodbye to the kids thing again. So I just keep going and then go in the driveway. I mean, it's not a problem. I do it all the time.
Yeah, why not?
And
It makes perfect sense.
And what suburb do you live in for this?
Oh.
No, we'll keep it quiet.
Yeah.
my neighbor
Yeah.
and I make eye contact when I'm
Well,
doing
that's
it.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'll
that's
bet.
good.
I'll
I'm
bet.
kidding.
Well, that's a good
Doctor or
neighbor.
a
I'm kidding.
judge?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wait until we hear about Michael getting hauled into the 48th District Court on some CSC charge. For
No,
pissing
but what
in
I'm
his
but
driveway.
listen, the idea that you can do it on your own private property is 100%. They are not going to stop you. You can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it
that's
can
good.
become a problem.
But so we're talking about cannabis now.
Are we
So-
talking about
I-
pissing
I-
We're
or
talking about the
cannabis?
idea is the freedoms on private property, what you can do. I think
Yeah.
it's bringing it back home.
Proximity.
And I'm saying to you that I'm not suggesting that one needs to wear this as the champion in the battle with your neighbor. The battle with the neighbor is the problem, right? It's not the marijuana.